September 11th, 1683. Vienna's walls crumble under Ottoman cannons. 200,000 Turkish soldiers surround the city. Europe holds its breath. But 60 miles north, 1,500 Polish horsemen sharpen their sabers. They call themselves the Winged Hussars. In 6 hours, they will charge downhill into 40,000 Ottoman troops and change the course of history forever. How does 1,500 cavalry destroy an army 26 times their size? What happens when unstoppable force meets unbreakable will? The Ottoman Empire controls 3 continents. From Baghdad to Budapest, the Sultan's word is law. Grand Vizier Kara Mustafa Pasha commands the largest army ever assembled against Christian Europe. 200,000 men, 15,000 camels carry supplies. His siege cannons weigh 8,000 pounds each. The bronze barrels require 40 oxen to move. His janissaries carry the finest muskets money can buy, wheel-lock mechanisms from German workshops. Vienna's garrison has 11,000 men and food for 30 days. The math is simple. The city will fall. Kara Mustafa has spent 2 years planning this campaign. Sultan Mehmed IV demands Vienna as a wedding gift for his daughter. The Grand Vizier studies maps drawn by Hungarian traders. He knows every gate, every tower, every weak point in the medieval walls. His spies count Christian soldiers from Prague to Rome. No relief army can reach Vienna in time. The siege begins July 14th. Turkish sappers dig tunnels toward the city walls. Each tunnel takes 6 weeks to complete. They pack the chambers with 4,000 pounds of black powder. The first mine explodes July 27th. A section of wall 40 feet wide collapses into rubble. Austrian defenders plug the gap with furniture and corpses. Inside Vienna, people eat leather soup and drink rainwater. City records show the daily death count. July, 50 civilians. August, 120. September, 300 per day. Children die first. Then the elderly. Count Ernst von Starhemberg commands the garrison. He has bullets for 3 more days. After that, swords and prayers. If you value documented military history like this, subscribe. It's the best way to support our work. Also, comment from which city you're hearing this from. This script is researched and factual, using sources from contemporary Ottoman chronicles and Polish military records. Now back to the story. King John Sobieski receives the call for help on July 15th. Pope Innocent sends letters to every Catholic monarch. Save Vienna or lose Europe. The Pope promises full remission of sins to every soldier who fights. Sobieski reads the papal bull in his private chapel. Outside, church bells ring across Krakow. The King of Poland makes his choice. Sobieski gathers his army with ruthless efficiency. 18,000 Polish troops march from garrisons across the kingdom. 8,000 Lithuanian cavalry cross the border in perfect formation. 5,000 German allies join at the Moravian passes. But the core striking force is different. Elite, deadly, expensive. Each winged hussar costs more to equip than 10 regular soldiers. The royal treasury empties to fund this army. Sobieski sells crown jewels to buy gunpowder. Polish nobles mortgage their estates for cavalry armor. The king's personal contribution, 200,000 ducats in silver coin. His wife Maria Kazimiera pleads with him to stay home. Their son Jakub is only 14. If Sobieski dies, the royal line ends. The king kisses her goodbye and rides south. The winged hussars trace their routes to Serbian light cavalry. By 1683, they represent 3 generations of military evolution. Each hussar owns land worth 500 ducats. They recruit from the Selekta, Polish noble class. Minimum height requirement, 5 feet 8 inches. They must provide their own armor, weapons, and 3 horses. 1 for riding, 1 for battle, 1 for retreat. If a horse dies, the hussar pays replacement costs or faces court-martial. Their armor weighs 40 pounds, half mail. Half plate. The breastplate stops musket balls at 50 yards. Arm guards deflect saber cuts. But weight is the enemy of speed. Master armorers in Krakow shave ounces from every piece. They test each suit by firing captured Turkish muskets at iron targets. 18-foot lances made of hollow fir wood. The length provides reach advantage over Ottoman cavalry. The hollow construction reduces weight by 30%. Lance tips forged from Swedish steel, harder than Turkish iron. A charging hussar's lance point generates 800 pounds of pressure per square inch, enough to punch through mail and muscle and bone. Curved sabers forged in Damascus steel purchased from Islamic merchants. The irony is intentional. Polish bladesmiths study captured Turkish weapons. They copy the curve geometry and folding techniques. The final product surpasses the original. Hungarian tests show Polish sabers bend 30 degrees without breaking. Turkish blades shatter at 20, and wings. Ostrich feathers or eagle plumes mounted on wooden frames attached to the back armor. Each wing stands 3 feet high. Some say the wings create fear. Others claim they deflect arrows. Military manuals offer different explanations. The truth emerges from battlefield accounts. Wings make individual riders appear larger. They create visual confusion in enemy ranks. Most importantly, they mark the elite. Sobieski's army marches south in August heat, 200 miles through mountain passes carved by Roman legions. The logistics challenge: stagger military minds. 31,000 men require 15,000 pounds of bread daily. Cavalry horses eat 40,000 pounds of oats. Supply wagons stretch 20 miles along mountain roads. The Ottomans know they are coming. Kara Mustafa has spies in every court. Hungarian nobles switch sides for Turkish gold. Postal intercepts reveal Christian plans. The Grand Vizier reads Sobieski's personal letters to his wife. He knows the Polish army's size, route, and arrival date. Intelligence advantage belongs to Islam. Mustafa positions his forces with mathematical precision. 40,000 men on the Kahlenberg Heights above Vienna. Another 60,000 guard supply lines. The remaining 100,000 maintain siege positions. His artillery commands every approach road. European military observers declare the position impregnable. If the Christians want to lift the siege, they must climb uphill into Turkish guns. The Grand Vizier is confident. His men hold the high ground. Weather favors the Ottomans. August temperatures reach 90 degrees. Christian soldiers march in full armor. Heatstroke claims 2 men per day. Mountain springs run dry. The army drinks from pools contaminated by livestock. Dysentery spreads through German regiments. Sobieski watches his force shrink with each mile. September 10th. The Allied Christian army reaches the Vienna woods. 31,000 men emerge from mountain passes like ghosts. Sobieski climbs the bell tower of St. Leopold's Church and studies the battlefield through a captured Turkish spyglass. The view reveals Ottoman strength and Christian desperation in equal measure. The Ottomans have built earthworks on 3 hills: Kahlenberg Height, Leopoldsburg, Nussburg. Each position holds 15,000 men. Their artillery covers every approach. 60 bronze cannons point downhill at predictable attack routes. Below, Vienna burns. Black smoke rises from collapsed buildings. The garrison has eaten its horses, then the cats, then the rats. People drink water mixed with blood from wounded defenders. One more day and the city surrenders. Sobieski counts enemy campfires through the night. Mathematics of warfare become clear. The Ottomans outnumber Christians 6-1. They hold superior positions. They have more guns, more ammunition, more food. Every tactical advantage belongs to Islam. Victory requires a miracle, or perfect timing, or both. Sobieski calls his war council at midnight in the abandoned woodcutter's hut. Candles flicker on rough wooden table. Maps spread across split logs. The battle plan emerges from desperate mathematics. A frontal assault uphill against fortified positions. Military textbooks call this suicide. Sobieski calls it necessity. The infantry will attack first at dawn to fix Ottoman attention. German pikemen advance up the center slopes. Austrian musketeers take the left approaches. Polish foot soldiers assault the right positions. When Turkish reserves commit to stop the infantry assault, cavalry strikes from 3 directions. The Duke of Lorraine commands the left wing, 5,000 Austrian cuirassiers. Saxon cavalry takes the center, 4,000 heavy horse. The Winged Hussars hold the right, 1,500 men against the Ottoman main force. Prince Eugene of Savoy studies the plan with growing alarm. He has fought the Turks for 15 years. Never has he seen such odds. Never has cavalry charged uphill into prepared positions. Never has 1,500 men faced 40,000. He voices his concerns quietly. Sobieski listens, then speaks 6 words that seal Christian fate. God wills it. We attack at dawn. Dawn comes early on September 11th. Fog rolls through the Vienna woods like battlefield smoke. Christian priests conduct final masses by torchlight. Soldiers write last letters to wives and children. In the Ottoman camp, muezzins call faithful to morning prayers. Both armies ask the same God for victory. The Christian infantry advances at 6 in the morning. Drums beat cadence through mountain air. 15,000 footmen march uphill into history. Musket volleys echo through the trees like thunder. Ottoman janissaries pour disciplined fire into German pikemen. The elite Turkish infantry has fought from Baghdad to Budapest. They know how to kill Christians. Bodies pile in the undergrowth. German casualties mount by the 100. Austrian officers fall with their men. Polish infantry reaches the first earthworks, then staggers back under Turkish counterattack. By noon, the infantry assault stalls. 3,000 Christian dead litter the slopes. Men die screaming for their mothers. The Ottomans hold firm. Kara Mustafa watches from his silk pavilion. Everything proceeds according to plan. Christian infantry breaks itself against Turkish earthworks. No cavalry can charge uphill through those corpses. By evening, he will accept Vienna's surrender. By winter, his army will march on Prague. The Grand Vizier orders his cook to prepare victory feast. 1 o'clock. Sobieski raises his ceremonial mace, 6 pounds of silver and gold inherited from medieval kings. Across the battlefield, cavalry commanders signal their men. 18,000 horsemen form 3 massive wedges. The ground shakes under 70,000 hooves. Horses snort and paw the earth. Sabers glint in afternoon sun. Prayer beads rattle on Turkish scimitars. The largest cavalry charge in human history is about to begin. Each horse weighs 1,200 pounds. At full gallop, they reach 25 miles per hour. Simple physics creates unstoppable momentum. 18,000 cavalry moving at maximum speed generate force equivalent to falling mountains. But physics means nothing if morale breaks first. The Winged Hussars perform final equipment checks. Lance points sharp enough to shave with saber edges honed to razor fineness. Armor straps tested and retested. Each man carries 40 pounds of steel. Each horse bears 200 pounds total weight. Mathematics of medieval warfare reduced to simple equations. Speed equals survival. Hesitation equals death. The Duke of Lorraine attacks first on the left. 3,000 Austrian cuirassiers crash into Ottoman earthworks. Steel rings on steel. Men scream. Horses fall. The Turks give ground but do not break. Saxon cavalry hits the center. Another 3,000 riders. The Ottoman line bends but holds. They have faced cavalry before. They know how to kill horses. 2:30 in the afternoon. King John Sobieski draws his saber and spurs his horse forward. The blade bears his personal inscription: Jesus, Mary, Joseph. Behind him, 1,500 winged hussars begin their charge. The wings catch sunlight like captured angels. Feathers stream in the wind. 18-foot lances drop to attack position. The earth thunders under 3,000 hooves. What happens next defies military logic and breaks the laws of physics. The hussar charge covers half a mile in 4 minutes. Ottoman musketeers fire 1 coordinated volley. Then panic spreads like plague. The sight of armored cavalry with wings breaks something deep in the human brain. Janissaries who fought at Mohacs and survived Lepanto flee without orders. Artillery crews abandon their bronze cannons and run for the river. In 6 minutes, 40,000 Ottoman soldiers become a terrified mob. The psychological impact exceeds all mathematical predictions. Humans fear supernatural threats more than natural ones. The winged hussars appear to be flying cavalry, impossible, therefore unstoppable. Turkish soldiers have trained to fight men and horses. They have no training to fight angels. Military discipline collapses. Unit cohesion shatters. The finest army in the Islamic world becomes a rabble. The collapse spreads like wildfire across 3 miles of earthworks. Turkish commanders lose control of their units faster than they can issue orders. Supply trains scatter across the field in blind panic. Camp followers run toward the Danube, dragging children and treasure. Kara Mustafa himself abandons his silk pavilion worth 10,000 ducats and flees on his personal Arabian stallion. Inside the tent, Sobieski finds the Grand Vizier's personal seal carved from emerald, his war chest containing 80,000 gold coins, maps of the planned march to Paris, and a letter to the Sultan promising Vienna's keys by October 1st. The Ottoman collapse creates tactical opportunities Christian commanders exploit with ruthless efficiency. Austrian cavalry wheels left to envelope fleeing Turks. Saxon horsemen pursue scattered supply trains. Polish infantry advances through abandoned earthworks. Every Christian unit becomes hunters. Every Turkish soldier becomes prey. By 4 o'clock, the Ottoman army ceases to exist as a fighting force. 15,000 Turkish dead litter the battlefield from the Danube to the Vienna woods. Another 20,000 flee toward Hungary carrying nothing but their lives. Christian losses total 4,000 killed and wounded. The winged hussars lose 37 men, 2% casualties against overwhelming odds. In 3 hours, they have ended Ottoman expansion into Europe forever. Individual acts of heroism emerge from battlefield chaos. Hussar, Captain Jerzy Lubomirski kills 12 Janissaries in single combat before taking a musket ball through the shoulder. Lithuanian nobleman Kazimierz Sapieha captures an entire Ottoman artillery battery with 50 men. Saxon Colonel Wilhelm von Grumkau saves the Duke of Lorraine from Turkish cavalry by cutting down 6 attackers with his own saber. But the mathematics of the charge reveal its deeper genius. 1,500 heavy cavalry hitting a narrow front creates enormous local pressure, despite overall numerical disadvantage. The Ottomans spread their 40,000 men across 3 miles of earthworks to prevent flanking maneuvers. At the point of impact in Astur, the Hussars achieve local superiority, 5-to-1 odds instead of 26-to-1. Mass and momentum concentrated at single point breaks through like hammer striking glass. Psychology multiplies physical force. No army can stand against cavalry that appears supernatural. The Ottoman retreat becomes a catastrophic rout extending far beyond the immediate battlefield. Kara Mustafa abandons 200 bronze cannons worth a fortune in metal alone, 15,000 silk tents that housed an empire's elite, and the largest military payroll in Islamic history. 3 million gold pieces meant to fund the conquest of Germany. Polish cavalry pursues fleeing Turks for 20 miles along the Danube Road. They capture the sacred banner of the Prophet Muhammad himself, a relic carried by Ottoman armies for 2 centuries. Sobieski sends it to Rome as a personal gift to Pope Innocent. The message resonates across Europe. The Islamic tide has turned. Vienna's gates open at sunset. Count Starhemberg leads the surviving garrison into streets filled with corpses and rubble. Church bells ring for the first time in 2 months. Citizens emerge from cellars like ghosts. Children who have forgotten sunlight blink in the fading light. The city that nearly fell to Islam now witnesses the greatest Christian victory in living memory. The strategic implications ripple across 3 continents. Ottoman prestige, built on 2 centuries of continuous victory, shatters in a single afternoon. Vassal states from Crimea to Cairo question Turkish invincibility. Habsburg Austria, nearly destroyed 3 months earlier, emerges as dominant power in Central Europe. The balance between Islam and Christianity shifts permanently toward the cross. Sultan Mehmed IV receives news of the disaster in Constantinople on September 22nd. The messenger who brings word of defeat dies before finishing his report, strangled by palace guards on royal orders. 3 more messengers meet the same fate. The Sultan refuses to believe his greatest army has vanished. He orders court astronomers to explain how Allah could permit such a catastrophe. They have no answers. December 25th, 1683. Kara Mustafa Pasha kneels in Belgrade before Sultan Mehmed's executioner on Christmas morning, a detail that Islamic chroniclers note with bitter irony. The silk cord tightens around his neck with practiced efficiency. He dies for losing the army that could not lose, for failing the Sultan who tolerated no failure, for believing mathematics guaranteed victory. His head travels to Istanbul in a silver box lined with Persian silk. The Sultan personally examines the severed head, then promotes the executioner to Pasha rank and orders rare wine from Cyprus to celebrate. The Grand Vizier's execution sends shockwaves through Ottoman leadership. If Kara Mustafa, victor of dozens of battles, conqueror of Hungarian fortresses, architect of Islamic expansion, can die for one defeat, no Turkish commander is safe. Military initiative dies with him. Ottoman armies become cautious, defensive, afraid to risk bold action. The psychological impact of Vienna extends far beyond the battlefield. European courts celebrate with Thanksgiving masses and victory parades. King Louis XIV of France, previously allied with the Ottomans against Habsburg Austria, quietly shifts toward Christian solidarity. The Pope declares September 11th a holy day of obligation throughout Catholic Europe. Protestant German princes, traditional enemies of Catholic Poland, send congratulations to Sobieski. Vienna has created unlikely unity among fractured Christian kingdoms. But military analysts recognize deeper truths embedded in the battle's outcome. The age of cavalry supremacy approaches its end. Within 50 years, improved firearms will make mounted charges obsolete. The Winged Hussars represent the last flowering of medieval warfare adapted to gunpowder age. Their victory at Vienna marks both triumph and swan song of armored horsemen who dominated battlefields for 1,000 years. But the real revelation comes 40 years later when Austrian engineers excavating the old Ottoman siege lines for new fortifications find something that reframes the entire battle. Beneath Kara Mustafa's command post, where his silk pavilion once stood, a carefully constructed mass grave holds exactly 1,500 bodies, all facing Mecca according to Islamic law, all buried with full military honors according to Turkish custom, all interred before September 11th, 1683. The discovery stuns military historians. The Grand Vizier knew what was coming. He studied Polish military manuals captured from earlier battles. He calculated winged hussar tactics and effectiveness. He prepared graves for every single elite horseman before the battle began. The mathematics were perfect. The psychology was flawless. He expected total victory against impossible odds. Instead, those graves filled with his own men, Turkish soldiers who fled the supernatural charge, Ottoman commanders who lost control of their units, janissaries who broke and ran from winged cavalry. The irony cuts deeper than any saber. Kara Mustafa prepared to bury Polish heroes and instead buried Turkish dreams of European conquest. September 11th, 1683. The day 1,500 horsemen saved European civilization, not through superior numbers or advanced technology or divine intervention, through the simple mathematics of concentrated force applied at the decisive point, and the ancient truth that some charges cannot be stopped by any earthly power. The wings have landed. The empire has fallen.